Hello everyone, this is Anson from AnsonAlex.com, and in this video I'm going to be providing a beginner's overview of using Pages 5, that's the word processing application that comes with your OS X Mavericks computer. So if you bought a new computer and it has Mavericks on it, it's going to come with iWork, which includes Pages, Numbers, and Keynote. And in this video we're going to talk about Pages. So let's go ahead and get started here. To open up Pages from my desktop, I'm just going to go down to my toolbar and I'm going to click on Pages. You might have to go to your Applications folder to open up Pages if it's not in the toolbar, which you can do by going into your hard drive or just clicking on Finder down here on the bottom and then going to Applications, and it should be somewhere in that Applications folder. Now when you first open up Pages, it's going to ask you to choose a template, and Pages has a number of templates like some of you might be familiar with Microsoft Word. So generally speaking, you're probably going to use the blank template when you're just writing a letter or just a random document, but you can go through all of these templates if you need to write an essay, a term paper. They have a bunch of school educational templates there for you. They also have templates for letters, so if you get confused about the letterheads and where the addresses go like I do, you could use one of these templates so you don't have to worry about it as much. So definitely take a look at these templates on your own time because there's some really good options in here. You've got envelopes, you've got business cards, a whole assortment of different templates, especially these ones right here. The flyers and posters are really nice because it already has the design done for you, so you can just change the image right here, put the wording of whatever you're selling instead of a scooter, and boom, you've got a great looking flyer that you didn't have to design yourself. So definitely take a look at those templates, but for this video we're going to start out with just the blank document so we can kind of play around and do a few different things. So once I have the template that I want to use selected, or the blank document selected, I can just go ahead and click choose. And you'll notice that the document now opens up on my computer. And it looks kind of similar to Word document. Actually not really that similar. The only thing that we really have in common is this big white space down here at the bottom, which is the body of the document where we're going to be typing and adding all of our content to our document. So to get started here, obviously, we can just start typing. So you can see it's a word processor, just like Microsoft Word. But everything's located in a little bit of a different area, and I actually like Pages better than Word because when you add rich media like images and videos, they just move around the document a little bit better. In Word, it's like you can put the image up here at the top left or the bottom right, on the right side, left side, maybe in the middle, but then to get that in-between area, it's very difficult to do, and it just doesn't flow very nicely, and Pages does. If you've been using Pages 09, which is the previous version of Pages, you're probably going to notice that this version doesn't have as many features. So a lot of you who are used to the old version of Pages, you might want to stick with that. It seems as though this version of Pages is developed in a way where there's going to be a lot of updates and additions to the application, but right now they're just not there. So for those of you who've used older versions of Pages, you may be a little disappointed. If you're new to Pages, you should have nothing to worry about. It has plenty of features and it's a great word processing tool. So as you can see over here, we've typed some text, but I want to move to the right side of this document because over here there's two areas that we're going to use a lot, both the formatting section and the document section. So you can see I can click on these and I get a whole list of different options when I navigate from either format to document. So let's first talk about format. This is where we can specify all the formatting details about the text in our document. So the first thing I want to mention is that up here at the top, where it says text, just underneath that we have a whole bunch of different paragraph styles to use here in Pages. So by default we're using the body style, which is just the main content of whatever you're composing. But let's say we wanted to give this document a title. I could kind of go over here, and then before I start typing I can choose the title style, and I could say, this is just test document. We could just call it test document, or to make it a little more of a real world example, we could call this an AnsonAlex.com business plan. So there we have my title, and you can see that they're formatted a little bit differently. Now underneath the paragraph style selector, which we just looked at, and you'll notice you've got a number of different options in here, subtitles, headings, all that sort of stuff. We have the different options to edit the text within this style of paragraph. So for instance, let me also put another title down here at the bottom. So I have two titles in here, and I can say that this is part 1 of our plan. And we're going to have more information below that. Now if I go over here to the formatting section, I have title selected right now, and I change, let's say, the font. I don't want it that big, I want it to be 25 point. Notice that there's a little asterisk next to title, which means changes have been made to that particular paragraph style. So what we could now do is we could click back on this drop down, mouse over title, and then you'll notice that a little arrow appears to the right. We could click on it and we could say update style. And when I do that, you'll notice that all of the title text in my document changes all at once. So you don't have to go to each different piece of your document that's using the, say, title paragraph style and change it individually. You can do it all at once. Now I could do it individually too, so I could go up here to the top and I could highlight just the first title and say, you know what, I want this one 30. I could make that one 30 and you'll notice that the other one didn't change. But as soon as we go up here and we mouse over the little arrow and click update style, there aren't any changes right now, so I can't do it right now. That's going to apply to all the text in our document that is using the paragraph style that we've selected, in this case title. So that's a really easy way to change a bunch of text at once in your document. If you take a look down the area on the right here in the format section, we have a number of other options. We can choose our font. We can make it bold, regular text, oblique, whatever style you want. You can change the size as we already did. Here we can choose bold, italics, underline. We can also choose whether we want to have some emphasis, a strike through, underline. You've got so many options here. You have your alignment. So we've got part 1 over here that's now on the left side of our page. If we click it in the middle, it's going to move to the middle, just like in Microsoft Word. We can change the indentation of our document, so we could have this be indented a little more. And then down here we also have the option to change the spacing, so we can make it double space, single space, and then we can choose whether we want some bulleted lists in here as well. So a lot of options here. You're going to be using this format section a lot, but right now we've been looking at the style of our text. Let's go to the next tab we have here into layout. We have a few different options. These get a little bit more advanced, but you can choose to have a 2-column document if you wanted. You could choose to have an indentation, and we could format some of the tabs and that sort of stuff in the layout section. If we go to more, we have some more options. We can make sure that there's no lines that are cut onto a second page. So if you want all of one paragraph to make sure it stays on the same page, you could select that option. Make sure that you're always starting a new paragraph on another page. A whole bunch of very subtle changes that we can make here. Now let's go ahead to the top here and let's click on the document section, because we have a lot of information to cover in this basic tutorial. If I'm going a little too fast, remember that you can always pause the video, you can rewind it, and then let me know in the comments section below if you'd like to know more details about a particular aspect of Pages, and I'll try and produce additional tutorials regarding those features that you're looking to hear more about. But in the document section up here at the top, we have some of the global options for this entire document. We can choose the orientation, we can choose the printer and paper size. If we look up at the top of my document right now, this is my header right here. So I could make that a little bit further down in my page. I'm going to move that back up now. I think we're at 0.5. We can choose our margins, a whole bunch of different options that apply to the entire document here in the document section. So, again, you're going to be using this format and style section a lot. That's where you're going to have all of your basic options for changing your text and that sort of stuff. But up here at the top, I want to talk about these options. This is where we can insert different things into our document. So let's move down our document here a little bit. Let's say we wanted to insert a picture into our document. Now I could click on media and it's going to try and pull up my iPhoto library, but you can also just drag photos right in here in Pages. So I have this photo on my desktop. I could just drag this photo into my document. You can see there it is. And this is where I think that Pages is so much more powerful than Word. If I click to move this image around, notice I can drop it anywhere on the page. In Word, it always jumps to a different spot, and it's very hard to get it exactly where you want it. So let's say I want to put this up here at the very top left of my page, and I don't want it to be that big. I want it to be quite a bit smaller. And then we'll just move this title down a line here. So now we can see we've got the AnsonAlex.com business plan. You know what, that's a little too high. Why don't we move it down just a little bit? So you can see we can make those very subtle changes to get that exactly where we want it. And you notice as I move it, it even gives me some yellow ruler guidelines for me saying, so I know that at the top left of my document right now, it's the same distance from the left of my document as it is from the top. This is just a super useful feature from a design perspective of Pages. It just makes your documents look that much more professional because you don't have to eyeball it, you don't have to measure it with a ruler, and I'll show you in a minute how you can display rulers in here, but it has those alignment guides for you. You see as I move this, it shows me where the exact middle of the page is as well. So definitely keep an eye on those alignment guides when you're working here in Pages. We could also insert other types of media, other types of content into our document. We could insert a table, and then we could choose our table style from the selector here. So we could make a little table in here. You can see my table is now inserted. When I click on the table to add a row, I can just click down here and I can make it say 10 rows. To add a column, I could click on this little icon at the top right and I could add or remove a column. And then you could go ahead and just start typing in here like you would a normal table. So, option A, option B, and then we could enter all the details about those options down here. So it's just like a normal table. Another feature that I like about Pages that Word does have, I think it's called clip art in Word, but we can insert shapes into our document. So I could click on the shape tool up here at the top, and I have a number of different shapes to choose from. So I could just pick, a green arrow, and then again I can move this green arrow all around my document. So I can move it here, saying I want to, highlight this line of text. So I've got the green arrow there. I could make it shorter. I could make it longer. You've got a number of different options for that. So these shapes can be really helpful when you're creating flowcharts or diagrams. You just want to highlight something within your document. I mentioned that we can add photos, but we can also add music and movies right into our document. So, it's going to bring you to iPhoto, but you can also drag either songs or movies right into your document and make them part of, say, a presentation. And then you can add comments like you can in Microsoft Word or Google Docs, which a lot of you may know me for my Google Docs tutorials here on YouTube at AnsonAlex.com. But let's say I wanted to highlight option A. I wanted to make sure that anybody looking at this document knows that I have some additional information about option A. I could highlight that cell, click on comment, and it needs to have access to my context. That's okay. So now you can see I've got this little yellow highlight at the top, and I could say, this option may not be the best choice. But I don't want that in the document, but I just want people who are reading this to know that. So I can click out of that, and when people read the document, when they hover over this little yellow box and click on it, they'll be able to see that my comment is in there, and they'll be able to see what it is. They could go ahead and delete it, or they could add another line to it here. They could respond to my comment. So those are helpful if you're using Pages in a collaborative effort with multiple people. Last couple things I want to talk about up here in the view section. We have a few different options that I think you might want to be aware of. First of all, we can show the word count. If we click show word count, you'll notice down here at the bottom we have the count of the words. I know that's important for all of you who are writing papers in school. We can also view the ruler, which is helpful, so you can tell where in the document you are. You can change some of the margins and that sort of stuff like you would in a Word document as well. Now, I think one of the biggest questions that a lot of you are going to have with Pages is, well, yeah, Pages looks great. I have a Mac computer. I don't want to have to pay for Word. I got Pages for free, but everybody else I know uses Word. How is that going to work? Well, you can actually open up Word documents right inside of Pages, and you can export your Pages documents to Microsoft Word format. So I actually don't have a Word document to open right now on this account on my computer, but if let's say I had a Word document on my desktop and I don't even have Microsoft Word installed on my computer, I use Pages and Google Drive, right? But if I double clicked to open that Word document, it would ask me, hey, you don't have Word, do you want to open this in Pages, and we'll convert it for you, and you just hit yes, and it'll open right up in Pages. It'll look pretty much exactly the same unless they did some really crazy formatting techniques when they created the Word document, and you'll be able to edit it in Pages. Now, once you're done editing in Pages, or you created a new document in Pages and you want to send it to somebody who uses Microsoft Word, how do you do that? Well, what we can do is we can go up here to the File menu, and if we scroll down here, we have the option to Export to, and you can see we have a number of different options here. We can export it to a PDF, a Word file, plain text, Pages 09. You're pretty much probably going to do PDF or Word, right? So what we could do is we could just click on Word, and I can require a password if I want, but I don't want to do that. And I'm going to go ahead and title this we'll do Anson Alex Business Plan, and I'll just put it on my desktop so you guys can see that right away. And I click Export. You'll notice that it takes a second, but I now have this document on my desktop. It's a docx file. It's in Word format. If somebody were to open that up in Microsoft Word, it would look almost exactly the same as it does here in Pages. They could make their own changes, send it back to you in Word format, and you could reopen it up in Pages to make some more changes. So I hope all of you found this tutorial helpful. Again, this was an introductory, kind of a crash course. I know I moved a little bit fast, but I had so many features I wanted to show you guys. So again, if you did find it helpful, I would appreciate a thumbs up here on YouTube. If you want to see more technology tips and tutorials, remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you want to see more additional advanced tutorials on Pages or even Numbers or Keynote, go ahead and let me know in the comments section below which features you'd like to hear about most, and I'll do my best to get some tutorials published to my YouTube channel and to AnsonAlex.com regarding those features you've mentioned. That's all I have for you guys today. Thanks for watching. This is Anson from AnsonAlex.com.